Alright, so today we're doing some beaters practice for hopefully tomorrow's league. I haven't checked yet if there is tomorrow a league. There should be a league every day. Alright, so we have a league planned for tomorrow. We're going to be doing it at 3 p.m. So there is a slight change of time. It's going to be done 2 hours earlier. So if you're looking out for that league, make sure to change your time on the phones. Again, 3 p.m. tomorrow. Today we were doing some practice with the beaters exclusively. We're not touching any other lists. I do want to test the beaters as much as possible. It's not going to be a long stream. We're just going to do a couple of runs, get a refresh on what's going on, hopefully get an idea of how the meta changed in the meantime, since we haven't touched this in a week. At least I haven't touched it in a week. So it's going to be interesting to see if this happened today. I'm not sure if I want to do some changes. I was planning to take out Nissa and to possibly substitute her with other threats, but just like last time, I guess we're gonna keep her in for now. As for the sideboard, I do want to change a couple of things. We saw quite some amounts of artifacts that were problematic for us, so I would like to maybe adjust this a little bit. I do have Assassin's Trophies, but if they don't show up, it might be a problem. Having 4 enchantment removals is great, but Assassin's Trophy is a all-around removal, so it targets enchantments, artifacts, and everything. So I think it's fine. It would be fine to replace Golgari Charms with something else, maybe. This is just a thought. Maybe I could drop 1 Soul Guide Lantern. Maybe, since I do have 2 Scavenging Ooze as main board, I could drop 1 Soul Guide and 1 Golgari Charms, and I would maybe put in something like a Unravel, since it targets either artifact or enchantment, and it doesn't care if either is indestructible, since it tucks it on the bottom of the library or shuffles in the library. And since we have the ability to target enchantments as well, it might be a good idea to replace it with the barrier charms, for example, or barrier breaches, or the charms. I do like having Soul Guide Lanterns against the matchups that have quite an aggressive graveyard style. Can be a saving thing. So I think we're just gonna justify it by removing Golgari Charms and barrier breaches and putting in those 2 Unravel the Aethers. And with that on a note, I think we are gonna keep this list the same. I would like to go to 4 Voracious Hydras though. It's a fantastic form of removal, but I'm not sure we are able to do that. So this is the list we're gonna be doing this with. Let me modify the list so you can see it on the Stream Decker. Basically, if you go over your mouse on the right side, there's going to be a link for the Stream Decker, and that link is going to be able to show you the current deck we're playing. Right now I have it set up as a Abzan that we were testing on Sunday, so let me switch it up to the Beaters Hardened Scales and modify it at the same time as well. I believe I haven't done any changes to this so far, so we just need to remove the 1 Golgari Charm and 1 Barrier Breach and put in 2 Unravels. So in a second you should be able to see the updated list. Unravel the Aether. Alright, there it is. I should be able to get the updated list right now on the Stream Decker. So basically the pop-up on the right, if you click on it, it's gonna load the screen. If it doesn't load right away, make sure to click it again, click it again after that, and it should refresh it. Alright, so we're doing some practice matches today. Let's see if we can join this game that we have right here. Alright, so we go in second here. We have a Pelt Collector in hand, we have a Wine Constrictor, as well as decent amount of lands that I'd like to see Scavenging Ooze is also nice, and a Walking Ballista. Definitely a keep. There is no reason not to keep it. I would even want to go first here, but unfortunately we cannot. Seems like opponent is mulliganing down to 6. Let's see what opponent is playing. Bloom Marsh. Could be green-black, Delirium, or just green-black, controlled, mid-range, anything. So Bloom Marsh. I'm a little bit reluctant playing Palette Collector here into a Fatal Push. But this could be our best chance to deal some damage, so might as well. Yeah, he has the Fatal Push. So it seems like we were playing green-black mid-range. This is Sultai. So Sultai Delirium. What do we want to play right now? Well, I can play Wine Constrictor right now to set up for Walking Ballista next turn to kill Jace, maybe, if I need to. Since next turn Ballista is gonna enter with 3 counters, as long as the Wine Constrictor survives. We will see. And we can play Woodland Samurai next as well. So Fable Passage, Watery Grave, and Bloom Marsh. One is just passing the turn. And it's our turn. We got a Voracious Hydra, which we can play right now and kill Jace if we wanted to. But I think it's better to just play the Hardness Scales onto Ballista here. Especially if we just play Voracious Hydra and when Constrictor gets removed, we're stuck with a 1-2 Voracious Hydra, which is not great. Seems like opponent does have some form of removal for the Constrictor, so that's gonna go away. We're still gonna get a 2-2 Ballista. Could very well kill Jace here. But I'm gonna let it survive for now. Seems like he... I'm not sure if he's gonna use it right now, but I believe he needs 5, so he still has 3 cards in the graveyard. Needs to play a spell, tap Jace, and in response then we're gonna kill him with Ballista. There's the Uro. Tomb tapped. I would very much like to play my Scavenging Ooze next so that I can get rid of some cards in his graveyard and then we don't even need to care about Jace anymore. And it could be a possibility here actually, if we play the Overgrown Tomb here. So let's try playing the Scavenging Ooze here. See if he decides to use his Jace there. Seems like he doesn't decide to do that yet. So we got to exile Uro here. Let's go ahead to combat and attack the opponent for 2. So Jace cannot transform right now. And he has to deal with the Scavenging Ooze now. Which I'm sure he has some form of removal for it. Decides to kill Ballista. But that's gonna kill Jace. Decides to tap Jace in response. Sure. Still gonna kill it. There's a Shark Typhoon cycled. Interesting. So now we can respond to this so the Jace doesn't trigger in this case, meaning he's not gonna get the flipped Jace here. It's just we have to decide what exactly to exile with this, and we're gonna target the Shark Typhoon here, exile it. This way he has 3 cards in his yard. He gets to draw, then Jace is dead. He gets another discard here. That's a swamp. Alright, and Fatal Push resolves without target. And we got it. Basically denying Jace here was the big plan. If we denied Jace, and his mistake was definitely targeting Ballista here, he should have used the push on the Scavenging Ooze. That would have stopped it from going that far. I'm guessing this is opponent mistake. Now what are we bringing in? Well, of course we're going to bring in the Sultai Lanterns. He's definitely playing Graveyard, and we have to deny that from him. I could bring in the Fatal Pushes. Being on the draw, I for sure want to be able to control him a little bit. Definitely not bringing any of these. This just helps him fill the Graveyard. And I doubt we're going to see anything significant there other than removal. And if we see removal, we're going to be able to grab one, but he has more than one majority of the times. So certainly not. And for any other ones, we don't really have use. We could use Assassin Trophy, but we have Fatal Pushes for majority of the stuff he's going to have. If he gets to like Emrakul, in case he has them, that's not going to help anyhow. So we bring in these 4. And as for what we take out, it's probably going to be the Hydras, because I just personally think they're slow in this matchup and not fast enough. And they're probably not going to be able to deal with stuff like Aura when it comes in as a from a graveyard as a permanent, meaning it's not going to leave. It's going to stay as a 6/6. It's going to be hard to remove it with this. So it's worth dropping a couple Hydras, and I will drop a single Collector because I think that's the weakest card of the lot. Primarily because he has so much removal, and Experiment 1 is so much better than that. And this is what I'm going to roll with for now. So let's submit this and go to game 2 here. We got a 2-lander in hand. One of them is a tap land as of now. We got a double Ozolite, which is not great. We don't really have a great start here. No Scavenging Ooze or Soul Guide Lantern, so I definitely want to mold this. 2 Ozolites are not going to help me in this case. This is a keepable hand. We have all the lances on tap lands. I have a Pelt Collector with Ozolite, Stonecold Serpent, and a Ballista. No Scales effect, but it's an okay hand to keep. And we'll drop 1 card on the bottom, which is going to be... I want to get rid of the lands. I need to have the Woodland Cemetery come in untapped, as well as I need the Llanowar Waste. And in order to get the second green, I do need the Woodland Cemetery, so I don't want to get rid of these yet. Instead, what we're going to get rid of is going to be Stonecold Serpent in this regard, maybe. I'm between the Ozolite, Stonecold Serpent, and the land right now. As these 2 I do want to keep, although Pelt Collector is also an option. just dropping the Pelt Collector altogether, but then what's the point of having that many lands? I'm definitely drawing another land, so I think I might be okay with dropping the cemetery down. But we will see. We have 2 draw phases too. We get another land. Thoughtseize. Either gonna be Ballista or Ozolith. Okay. Grabs the Serpent. Surprise. Do I want to play the Collector now? Guess it doesn't matter. I'll play the Collector now, try to play the Constructor next turn. Instead of Wayfinder, that means we're not gonna face a removal spell on Pelt Collector right now. Which is great. Had a couple lands. And another Wayfinder. Got a Scavenging Ooze though. Now, at least one more land, green source land would be great here. Let's play the Wine Constructor and start going aggressive here. Opponent knows we have a Ballista and Ozolith in hand. He doesn't know that we have a Scavenging Ooze. Takes 3 down to 13. There's a second state of Wayfinder. There's Tireless Tracker, Hostage Taker, Zega Triumph, and the Blooming Marsh. Surprising to me that he put the Breeding Pool right now, since next turn he has a Blooming Marsh in hand, and that seems like it's gonna enter untapped. Alright, so it's gonna be 2 blockers looking at us right now. He's not gonna attack. We're pretty free to attack now. I want to land. If I get a land, I can play Scavenging Ooze. If I don't, then I'll be playing the Ozolith to make sure that I retain these 2 counters. There's another Pelt Collector. Not the worst card, I guess, to draw. So we'll play that and play the Ozolith. Next turn we can grow it using the Ballista, as long as the Constructor survives. Swing for 5. Let's see if opponent is going to declare blocks here. Interesting, the opponent is playing Hostage Taker. So there must be some bring back from graveyard shenanigans going on. There is the Overgrown Tomb, and Abrupt Decay targeting the Ozolith. Gonna have to let that resolve. That's where the Heroic Intervention comes in as a bonus, I guess. And he targets the Constructor for the kill. Well, the Pelt Collector is gonna get counters as a result. And he stepped out and he's at 6 life. There's an Avatar that we cannot play right now, unfortunately. Could just go to combat and see if he's gonna block this. Which I think he's gonna double block on a Pelt Collector. We'll see. There's the double block. So that's gonna be 2 for 1. And we bring him down to 3. Alright, now what do we play now? We could play Walking Ballista, which I think is gonna get removed. Or we can play the Scavenge Nose in this case. Just afraid he's gonna bring the Hostage Taker. So the choice here is gonna be playing the Ballista. Pass the turn. He decides to hostage take the Ballista. Can always shoot him in the face down to 2. Alright, Fable Passage looks for a island. And opponent is passing. Alright. Well, we got an Overgrown Tomb. We could potentially just go for the Tomb, play the Avatar. See if we can grow the Belt Collector. And try to attack with both. He definitely has responses in hand though. Or we can play Scavenge News, which I'm afraid I'm gonna lose, maybe? He's gonna be targeting the Belt Collector here, primarily. I would like to see the target before I go to combat. Five lands is scary, and he has 3 cards in hand. Certainly a scary position to be in. Let's see if he's gonna let us to go to combat. Alright, so he's playing a removal, I'm assuming now, Abrupt Decay or something similar. Shark Typhoon. That's fine. This is just a shark for 2, but I'm assuming he has a Fatal Push. So let's let him define the blocks here. He's gonna block the Ballista with this and push that. That's a logical thing to do. And blocking the Ballista, I can deal 1 to him. Pass the turn. There are a number of scary things that might happen right now. One of them is being Uro. That's gonna bring him down to bring him up to 5. And the other one is Extinction Event, which unfortunately hits his Shark too. Okay. There is a Forest. So gotta play the Coos here. He has another Fatal Push. That's gonna hurt. Otherwise we're just gonna pass here for now. Plan here is to exile 2 stuff at the end of his step and doesn't... Yeah, he doesn't have removal. He has 2 lands. Very unfortunate. But a good game. Alright, let's have another game. That was not a bad game. It was pretty good to see a Sultai Delirium effectively, just Sultai graveyard. Or so I call it. But it's not a bad matchup. It's a good matchup, reflective of the competitive meta. We've seen those in leagues, so it's great to see that in practice. Scavenger is definitely as a all-star in that matchup. Alright, 5 lands, definitely not. I've capped 4 lands and I lost 2 games because of that, 2 leagues in a row. So no thank you. Pallet Collector, Wine Constrictor. Seems like Pallet Collector is gonna get dropped here. One of the Pallet Collectors. But there is a possibility we can drop the Hydra just because we have 2 lands. So keep, drop the Hydra. We'll pass the turn. Turn 1 we'll play Pallet Collector. There's a Forest Llanowar Elves. There's the Ozolith. This could go pretty bad. I'm hoping that I can get to turn 3. This is another Winota deck. It's gonna be worse than I expected. I'll take 1 here. And he has Winota next turn, which is 3 triggers. Playing Ballista right now removes only 1 creature for me. Not that effective. Being able to attack for 3 here means I'm losing one of the blockers. There is a chance I could win just by going aggressive here. So bring him down to 15. Have a single blocker on the field. He has the land and has Winota. Seems like he does. You see 2 triggers. 3 triggers. It's 2 goblins, and then let's see how many of those misfire. Okay. Trigger 1. Angress Marauders. Nope. Pia. Trigger 2. There was Angress Marauders. He essentially had all the pieces in his hand. And it was a misfire on the other one. Let's see, that's 4 damage. That's 8 damage. 16. So I have to block this if I want to survive. That's just BG. Unreal. Very fast deck. I wonder what's the matchup against blue whites and inverters for this deck. Seeing how he did it turn 3 trigger for all of these, a board wipe would be sad for this. No, it lines up pretty okay against the combo decks like inverters and stuff like that. We were not on the play here. This is on the draw. So I was going second here. And we were basically racing here. If I would be going first, I would have much more chance. Because now, at this point, I would be able to play Ballista. And being able to clear up those goblins and clear up the Rebel Master would be super helpful. Just because I'm going second, that's why I'm behind the turn. And that means a lot. And that's why he's going to win here. But going first, I have all the chances to win here. Absolutely. So I don't have removal. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 triggers. I don't see a way to win out of this. Especially since he has 1 Angreth on the field. So it's just a matter of fact going to game 2. So game 2 Thoughtseize. And trophies. And the charm. That's it. And take out Nissa. Screws. Drop one Rishkar. Oh, the Scales has chances, especially the Beaters. I feel like Beaters line up really well if you start in the game being on the play. If you start the whole game being on the draw, it's like 50-50, depending on how your opponent draws. He had essentially the perfect hand in his hand. I had a pretty good hand too. But unfortunately, this is not a deck to be winning on the draw. If I want to win on the draw, I have to have the Thought Seizes, I have to have the trophies, the pushes, and I don't have that accessible on the game 1 out of 3. And that's a big drawback. Let's see how it works out on the play. Don't have my beaters here. Do have Assassin's Trophy for the Winota. Gonna take it. This is the slow hand. But we can control our opponent pretty good with the Ballistas. There's a Temple Garden tapped. Now he has a slow hand. And there's a Golgari Charm. Now I'm not worried at all. So play this, pay the life for that. Play one of the walking Ballistas. Pass the turn. Next turn we can start attacking for 2. If he decides to play his 1-drops, we clear them with the Golgari Charm. There's Inspire and Advantage. Voice of Resurgence. Could kill it. There's a second Assassin's Trophy. I could kill it. Instead, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna see if he decides to block this. If not, then we do in 2, and that's a freebie. And we can just pass the turn. There's a second Voice of Resurgence. Attacks with 1. I want to draw a land here. There's an Elvish Mystic. We got a land. So the play here is going to be playing the land tapped. We will play the Golgari Charm. Could play the Golgari Charm, kill both voices using the Ballista. And he's going to have 2 elementals, both 2/2s. If he has a land in Winota, that's going to hurt. So let's just wait for his turn. So I'm going to pass here, wait. Hopefully he plays Winota on his turn, and then we can clear up the Voice of Resurgences. He's going to get elementals though. But if I don't do it this way, he's going to be able to attack with the elementals at me as he has Winota. There's Winota, I was right about that. So get rid of that. Get rid of that. Charm. It's gonna get 2 of the elementals, then another 2 because we killed them. Hardened skills. 3. 16. That's still gonna be lethal. If I try to Assassin Trophy Winota here, Elementals are gonna go down to 4/4s, and that's gonna be exactly 16 for him. If I kill the Elemental, he gets 3 triggers of Winota. It seems like he has the win anyways. Well, that's unfortunate. I mean, it's my fault here because I kept this slow hand. If I would have rolled to get at least one drop, I would have been able to rush him, but I drew 2 Assassin. I had Assassin Trophy in hand, and then I drew another one. And that wasn't perfect, in addition to another hardened skills. And he had 2 voiceover surges. Double voiceover surges is always bad against green black. It's good for him, bad for us, because we have a lot of removal that we want to play on his turn. And, well, that's a good game. I still think beaters have fantastic chance against combo decks. That includes the Winota deck. It's a 50-50 if we are on the draw, which we were on that game in the match on game 1, but there's a big luck factor in all of these games. Alright. Let's see what we have here. Go in second again. Usually that's not what I want to see with the beaters deck. But I would like to exhaust all my chances going second during my practice so that I go first during my league. Alright, so single land, 3 1-drops, a Reshkar and a Wind-In Constrictor. Very risky hand to keep. If we don't draw a land, we're gonna be stuck on 1-drops. I'm not playing chances here, I'm trying to be as consistent as possible. Okay. This is better. Keep this, drop this on the bottom. We are going second, so we can start with playing Pelt Collector. Or we're going to tapped. That's a good sign. There's a Bloomin' Marsh. Let's play the Pelt Collector. Next turn I'll play Scales Experiment 1. And then work on Ballista, hopefully, which is gonna grow both of these if they don't die. Seeing green black, I'm pretty sure all of these are gonna die. Okay. So let's see what opponent is really playing. Plains, so that's Abzan. Could be 4 colors or 5 colors. Alright, so that's Niv to light, most probably. Okie dokie, so Voracious Hydra. Not great, I would rather want a White Constructor here. Alright, so let's play the Tomb, play the Scales, and the Experiment 1. There's another green-black. So he has 4 colors as of now. Seems like next turn we can get 2, 3 threes. And if we do get to that point, Experiment 1 is gonna have Regeneration online. And attacking with a 3 threes means he has to either cash and carry at it, or just let himself take 6. He decides to board wipe right now. Carry at it is also gonna die. Feels like opponent has fallen asleep. Wake up. Drawing a 1 constructor would be great here. That would have pumped the Belt Collector and Experiment 1 to 4/4s, and Belt Collector would have had Trample. And then we could Voracious Hydra. Alright, so he's playing something. Siege Rhino. Seems like I have been wrong, this is just Abzan. Abzan good stuff, Abzan Zoo, Abzan creatures, whatever you want to call it. Siege Rhino. That's annoying. Mildly infuriating. Woodland Cemetery. Alright, let's play Ballista. Still can do that. Play the Azolet. Could attack right now. See if he wants to block. And even if he does, then I can put counters on the Ballista. If I attack, he's gonna go down to 20. I don't think I'm gonna attack here. I usually would attack against the board setup like this. But I think here right now I'm gonna decide to just pass and see how it works out if I go a little bit more on the defensive here. Attacks with a Rhino, most probably. Check could double block. certainly something I want to do here. I lose one creature, but it's gonna put 3 counters on the ballista. That's always great. See who he chooses to kill. I'm assuming this is gonna be Experiment 1. Front. Unless he has a pump or something like that. Oh wow. Wants to kill the Pelt Collector that badly. Okay. So we get to keep the Experiment 1. What is he afraid of? Trample? Aha. Fatal Push. Fatal Push. Do I want to regenerate the Experiment 1 here? I could. I'm losing 2 counters of the whole picture, which I'm gonna get back with Voracious Hydra next turn. And I get to keep this creature. Okay. So let's try to regenerate. Taking some damage here though. Alright, that finally happened. Get 2 counters in Onslet. I'm gonna take 3 here. Down to 12. You might have Knight of Autumn, which is gonna kill Onslet. That's a possibility. I think that's the worst situation out of all for us. It's like he's just passing. Another Experiment 1. I'm not sure that's what I want right now. Let's see if we can go to combat here and try to put all these counters on Ballista. Or if he has another push that's gonna kill Ballista. Seems like that's gonna resolve. Back for 5. Then I really want to go with the Voracious Hydra and double the counters here. So it seems like no blocks. Goes down to 18. I do want to play the Hydra now. So I get the Evolve trigger, and the Hydra is gonna go to 5/6, which is a fantastic blocker for the Rhino, as long as it survives and doesn't die. There's another land. One is at 5 lands now. Now I can attack next turn for 10. Liliana. +1. So I'm in the same position where I can try to double block the Rhino. He decides to attack with it. No attacks. Kill the Rhino here and attack Liliana if I wanted to. And we got a Winding Constrictor. So we could definitely play that. No reason not to. We'll go to combat. I'll attack Lily. Whether he decides to block with the Siege Rhino, or he decides to not block, I can still kill Lily with the Ballista. There's an Assassin's Trophy hitting the Ocelot. Interesting. Certainly will use its ability, and we'll pick a Forest out of the mix. So what's it gonna be now? You're down to 2 cards. You're losing Lily right now. And I think he might have a board wipe. Otherwise, what's the point of all this fuss? Shambling land tapped. It's a nice manland with some lifelink, but all of our creatures except Constrictor are higher power than his toughness. Anafanza. It's like a Scavenging Ooze, but without additional effect. It just exiles everything that goes to graveyard. It's like a it's a white one. Rest in Peace. Yeah, same thing. It doesn't really help him survive here. Since we can up the Ballista next turn, even if he blocks, we'll be able to attack with everything. Shoot him for 8. And that should be a good game. Alright. That's game right there. Let's go ahead and start one more game. I feel good. I feel good for the league tomorrow. This list is pretty good. I do like Assassin's Trophies and the sideboard. I might bring back Abrupt Decays. Abrupt Decays are great. Having this weird idea where being on the play shouldn't be including anything from the sideboard at all and just keeping the list the way it is. This way I could maximize my aggressiveness with the deck. Just an idea floating in the air right now. Alright, so we got Rishkar Experiment 1, Avatar, Ocelot. No scales, but we do have Rishkar. Not the worst hand to keep. We are going second. It's gonna be a keep. Decent land base, decent starting hand. A lot of green sources, so feel pretty good about this. And on the Blooming Marsh, a lot of Golgari roaming around. Alright, a Hardened Scales. Definitely has a push. Certainly has a push. And I'm afraid to face a Thoughtseize maybe. He draws one. This could be the time that I play the Hardened Scales first, which I usually don't do with this deck. Pass the turn. Definitely has a push. I'm 100% sure he has a push in his hand. Otherwise, there's no reason to keep the Blooming Marsh up. And he might even have more removal at this pace. So Voracious Hydra is the draw. Could just bait him and play Tomb into Azlet here. And then next turn try to play Experiment 1 to Avatar or something like that. This way he's gonna feel bad for not doing anything 2 turns in a row. And the third turn he's gonna have to play something, and that's when we can be able to put some counters on Experiment 1. Seems like opponent just decided to surrender here. Great. I think that's because we didn't play any creatures and all he had was creature removal on his hand. That happens too. Not saying that I would have won though. Alright, so we'll play one more. And one more reminder, tomorrow we're playing a league. I'll post an update on the Twitter, and you will see an update down there in the stream countdown, which is going to reflect the exact time the next stream is going to start, when we're going to start the league. Oh, we're going first. That's fantastic. Not a great hand though. Could have been better. Double Wine Constrictor is not something I want to see here. No one drop, so no turn 1 play. I'll mull. I want a faster hand here. This is certainly a faster hand, more resilient. I don't think the second Hardened Scales effect is necessary here. We will keep. Drop the Scales on the bottom. Marsh Belt Collector go. Turn 2 will play Wine Constrictor. Hopefully he doesn't have push. And seems like he's playing tap land. Very nice. Wine Constrictor. Swing for 3 past turn. Thoughtseize. Kinda late. Not gonna lie. Stonecoil is a smart choice to go with. Shrieking Affliction. So we are playing a discard tribal. That's alright. Play this cemetery. We'll play this Coos. Don't want to get him discarded. Go to combat and attack for 5. Let's see who's gonna start losing more life. Me or him? He's gonna be able to stack these. That's when it's gonna start hurting. Played against this deck numerous times. It seems like it's a popular casual that's trying to push into competitive. Gabriel, gonna discard our swamp. Taking 5 at the beginning of our upkeep. Yeah, it's gonna be 5. So we're gonna go down to 15. And he's gonna take 5 because I'm gonna send 2 to the Gabriel. That's a Blooming Marsh. I don't really care for that Blooming Marsh. Get rid of this Stone Cold Serpent. Go to combat. 7, 8, 9. I could attack just him. But it's safer to send this at the Gabriel. Not playing the Marsh. Pass the turn. Hopefully it's gonna take the bait. Trying to Thoughtseize or something similar. So it'll be discard the Blooming Marsh. But he's that Dreadbore on the... Yeah, well, I'm gonna exile the whole graveyard meanwhile. Not like it's gonna do anything to me, but just in case. It kills the Ooze. Has 2 lands available. And Collector gets the counter. So he's looking at a lethal next turn, still. Heartless Act can remove 3 counters. Still gonna survive. That's a game. Sideboard. We just gotta play as fast as possible against this deck. One thing I want to bring in is removal for the enchantments. Those enchantments are the main reason why we're losing life. So Barrier Breaches, Golgari Charms, Unravels, all of these have to come in. Not gonna play with Thoughtseizes, just because I don't want to play with Thoughtseizes this match. It doesn't seem logical to me. If he Thoughtseizes us, he's gonna grab the Thoughtseize, and then we have no way of grabbing his enchantments. It's also true for these, but this is more targeted for his specific deck. I don't want to be losing life from the Thoughtseize. That's a big no-no when we're playing against a deck that passively makes us lose life. Misses are too slow. I don't need Voracious Hydras. And we have to keep 1. And let's submit it. Being on a draw against this deck is tough for us since we're trying to play aggressively, and he's gonna aggressively make us discard. Health Collector, Experiment 1, Rishkar. We go in second. This might not be the best hand to keep, it might not be the worst. I'll keep it. Again, these 4 lands, remember in the league last time, definitely gonna draw another 4 in my next 4 draw stops. 4 work is nice. There's a Thoughtseize, grabs our Experiment 1. Health Collector, okay. He's worried about the Trample. But Blooming Marsh, Experiment 1, pass the turn. I reach Sanitarium. Waste Not. That's one of those enchantments that we need to remove as soon as possible. And there's the trend. Starting to draw the lands. Why not? To 17. Vicious Rumors. Gotta discard. Don't want to discard creature, that's gonna make a blocker for him. But if I discard a land, it's gonna make him 2 mana. Which eventually is gonna make us discard more. Don't really have a choice here. So has 3 mana at his disposal. 4 mana at his disposal. Unburden. Let's give him more mana. Just because why not? Has enough already. Might get more. Has another discard spell. Gabriel, yep. That's gonna do it. Now we are empty-handed. Waste Not has wasted us. And we're taking 2 at our upkeep. Let's see what we draw. Oh, like a Wind Constrictor. That works too. Could have been there earlier. Pass the turn. Could have waited, I guess, here. See that he -1 on Gabriel or uses a spell. That's an option. Alright, so Gaia Reach Sanitarium. Activation. That's just a land. I'm happy to discard that. Gotta see the Wind Constructor here. Pretty soon. Take another 2, 15 to 18 here. There's another Walking Ballista. Double draw. Pass the turn. I mean, I could attack Gabriel, but then I'm losing the zombie. Or I could cash in the ballistas to make zombie go away. Start attacking with Gabriel. He has removal, I'm gonna be empty. Absolutely empty. Could cash in ballistas for Gabriel though. Also an option. But we'll see what he does first. Second activation of Garbage Sanitarium. That would be a great draw. Waste Not, number 2. No attacks. Let's kill Gabriel. No more discards. Voracious Hydra. I'm glad I killed Gabriel, because I would have definitely not been able to play it right now. Can attack, so pass. Hopefully he draws a land. Although he does have Gyri Sanitarium, which is going to hurt us. Seems like he's activating that again. There's an Avatar. Guess we're gonna give him another zombie. Like I said, it's a tough deck to play when you're on the draw. Thoughtseize. gonna be attack for 2. Down to 13. Seems like we're gonna be overrun by zombies. I'll keep playing. There's no reason to surrender yet. I'm not discarding anything this turn. Well, we are to the Dire Sanitarium. It's a very nice discard engine. You can get the mana if you want. Shuriken Infliction. Now we're gonna start losing faster. Yeah, that's game. Even if I play the Ooze, I can't really get out of this. So, sideboard. Seems like opponent just left. Too bad. Very bad. Alright, that was a fun game. Was the chance we're gonna see it in competitive in League tomorrow? 0 to slim. Just because I see a lot of this played in casual practice, but it doesn't really make a cut into competitive. You might see it, but it's not a great deck to be playing against other decks. It's fun. That's all it does. Just fun. And it's a cheap one to build a deck to. Not really worried about that archetype right now. What I'm worried about would be the Lotus Breach as usual, Inverter, a bunch of enchantment decks, like Ores of Ores and stuff like that. Not really worried about Burn, maybe I should be, but so far the record against Burn is pretty good. I don't know, we'll see tomorrow what happens. I don't want to think too much about it. Today was not bad. I think it reflected pretty good that this deck is still great. Not gonna make any changes. I think having these two on Rebels is important here. I think it's an additional enchantment removal and artifact removal, which I needed so many times and I didn't have. So I'm definitely gonna keep it this way. I would like to get my hands on another Thoughtseize to replace this Duress, and that would be the perfect sideboard at that point. Gonna bring it to another league tomorrow, yeah. We're gonna use this deck. So if you wanna join me tomorrow for the league, that's gonna be 3 PM Eastern Standard Time, or Eastern Daylight Time, same thing. And I would be glad to see whoever wants to join. So this video will be uploaded to YouTube today shortly. Take care, guys. Thank you for joining.